Alright, got some push today. It's cold in here, so I'm going to keep this nice and quick. Plan is to go in, maybe try a few new exercises. Generally don't want to deviate too much because you want to make adaptations to the exercises you're doing. But, you know, we'll see what happens. Do a quick warm up my shoulder, and then I'll see you guys then. Alright, just to build off the point I started with in the intro, I'm switching over to some Smith Machine Incline. Why the switch? Just to get another different movement in there. No real reason. I think that machine was serving me well. I just want to give this a shot too. I suggest you in a training block. So for a certain period where you're tracking your progress, whether you be on a cut or a bulk or whatever, I suggest during a training block that you stick to about the same exercises. Maybe like you guys saw, I hit overhead triceps, right? And then the other day I hit some single arm push downs, or no, I hit some regular push downs. I hit alternating dumbbell curls, and then the other day I hit this. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do alternating dumbbells, then do the cable curls, and then do the regular curls. I'm gonna try to stick to those two. And if I'm randomly feeling like, you know what, I'm sick of those, maybe I'll change it. I mean, against my better judgment, I might do it. But for the most part, I'm gonna try to stick to those. Alright. So, this is awkward. I'm kind of trying to turn my wrists, right, to flip it up, and it's not working because I got my wrist wraps on, so I'm kind of not extending enough, and then it goes over. It's a mess, so I'm just gonna flip around. Flip the setup. To keep your attention, it was either that or put on some Subway Surfers, and I suck at Subway Surfers, so no, just kidding. Did this because I couldn't get my wrists under it to keep my wrists stacked over my elbow, and it was kind of messing me up. Now something like that, I imagine if I look at this set versus last set, I imagine that this set ends up going better than the last set. Why is that? Well, it shouldn't, because it's my second set. I should be fatigued. But I think the fact that I was messing around with my wrists, I had to like leave it on my chest and flip it back, I think that negatively impacted my set. Like I've said before, discomfort or not being set up right, whatever, it's gonna hurt your set. Mental plays a big part. Now, I didn't have an outro on my last video because when I got home I was dead tired. I just knocked right out, so sorry about that. But I mean, if you guys want to ask any questions about whatever, lifting, me, weight loss, programming, whatever questions you got, just have at it, man. I'll be sure to try and get to you if I ever end up posting this. My eyes are red, dude. Need to lay off the reefer, apparently. Did not feel great. Didn't set the bench up right. That's what I get for changing my setup mid-set. I'll learn to be better. Or maybe I'll just stick to that one. I don't like having to twist it off. I might just stick to elsewise. Alright, I'm gonna be hitting some dumbbell curls. Just some regular old alternating dumbbell curls. You've seen me do them before. If you haven't, welcome. Something I guess I should talk about real quick. Ooh, I have no mic. Just realized I had no mic. Whatever. Sorry. iPhone audio it is. Been wondering if maybe my mic volume or my mic quality isn't worth actually using the mic over, so we'll see. 16, and we'll call it good there. Woo! 16. That is 8 each arm. Alright. So, something I do want to talk about is roids. I don't do them. And honestly, don't really know anything about them, alright? All I really know is just whatever old heads are saying. Or BP edits where they're like, oh, make your face puffy and ruin your, I don't know. Not very knowledgeable on them, so if you have questions related to them, take them to a professional. What I will say, I'll say this about peptides as well, is they have side effects that unless you're going to make a career out of it, it's not worth it. Don't do it. All right. If you're a kid seeing, oh, take GHKCU and Retta, and these things are new. They're not well researched. And whatever you're getting is probably fake. All right. And you're probably needling yourself. All of this is dangerous behavior you should not be partaking in. All right. And, you know, not to dog on them, but I mean, look at me. Obviously, I'm not the face of BP, but I think it's dumb in general. I think your face is about, I'd say, the 8th thing a woman cares about. You know, height, shoulder width are going to be physical attributes that matter more, so long as you're not absolutely chopped. I think before that even comes your capability. So like what you do for a career, how respected you are, stuff like that, I think matters a lot more. And I think, hey, you're not doing it for a lady, you're doing it for yourself. Arguably worse. I don't think beauty should be the standard. Beauty should not be something you measure your worth in. I think that's a little ironic coming from me. I'm in here trying to lose weight, right? But that's for health reasons. I've got bad health in the family. But it's also because one of the most freeing things I ever felt, I think, would have been the first time I did a pull-up. I think that was, gosh, I felt weightless. It's like it's a feeling of euphoria, being able to do a dip or a bunch of push-ups or being able to do a pull-up. I think all that stuff is worth way more than whatever I see in the mirror, right? If I can go upstairs 2 at a time, I feel like I'm just floating up. Man, I can't tell you how good that feels. I think this weight I carry it's a burden. I feel it. When I regain weight, I notice it. I notice, gosh, this is a lot harder than it used to be. I don't feel good. I feel unhealthy. I feel just terrible. And you know what? That's my goal for this time around, is to do this, put in the work, lose the weight, so I can get back to that feeling of who I ought to be, you know? Body is very important. For your mind, I should say. Let's hit another set. Eat. Whew. My right arm failed. My stronger arm failed. Got gooner fatigue. Whew. So, hitting some overhead tricep extensions. I think, let's set the weight. I think everybody should incorporate some type of overhead variations. Whether you like to grab the dumbbell and do French press, that's all you, man. I hate that. I feel like I'm gonna knock my head on it. I don't really like that it's a pressing motion. I prefer the extension, which basically the difference is this is extension, this is pressing, right? You're kind of involving the shoulder joint in pressing. But, you know, do what you prefer. I'm doing what I prefer, so. That set of incline press, man, it did not go well. I don't want to blame the machine, because, I mean, it's my bad for setting it up wrong. But, man, I just could not get it right. I think part of the problem is that this machine goes straight up and down. So at the bottom, if I'm pressing right here at the top, I'm kind of like, my arms are here, so it's kind of like pushing on my shoulders funny. And, you know, I mean, for like squat patterns and stuff, yeah, it's nice to have the straight up and down. But for pressing, I mean, I have a pretty exaggerated arm path. Like, I go down pretty low on my chest, like below my nipples. So I prefer to have the slanted rails. And then another thing I don't like is having a twist. I told you this before. The reason I wear wrist wraps, well, really, the reason I have wrist problems is because I wear wrist wraps. Like I said, I'm weaning off. I mean, it's a lot on your wrist to have to like flip it over, and then if you flip too far, you gotta like adjust your hands while you're kind of sitting at the top, and if you are at that funny angle and you're kind of twisting around, it's a lot on your shoulders. It's just, I'm gonna stick to that machine, at least in here. At my school gym, if I ever do flop a leg day here and then a push day there at the school gym, my school gym has the slanted one, so there I might do some incline press. Here I'm gonna stick to the incline press machine rather than the Smith. But you know, that's all just preferences. If you prefer, maybe your arm path's different or whatever, go ahead, have at it, man. Five reps. I think I've said this before. 4 reps, 5 reps, I'm not mad. I'm not mad. 3 reps, I might be a little upset. 2, I'm definitely not happy with what I did. Last time I did these, I tried to do the full stack, got 2. I was like, well, that was dumb. I don't even think I was full stacking this at 100%. And I was just coming back from the gym. But we live, we learn. I'm gonna have to check the audio on this because I was smushing it with my fat neck. Sorry. You might have noticed, I felt it. I'll go back and watch it to see. But at the end, kind of turned into a press. Like I brought my elbows in instead of forcing my wrists out. It feels more natural, and I'm just gonna assume that it's because of the strength curve. I mean, in general, your triceps aren't going to be as strong on a lockout. At least I don't think. In my experience, that is the case. I mean, if you were to put the weight you can do at that mid-range right there, right? The weight you can do like here and try to apply it on the lockout. So like going from here to here. I think if you looked at that, it would be a lot different. Different story, I think. But, you know, that's just a theory. I guess we could test it out. Nah, I'll trust my instinct. I mean, I'll check. I'm sure it has something to do with the fact that your internal mowing arm goes to like nothing. Because, I mean, think about it. Your triceps is going from here to here, right? Imagine you're like this. Well, your triceps tendon is going to start here. So you're going to have a big leverage point, right? So your triceps are going to be stronger versus down here. Well, it's not as far out from my triceps, so it's going to have less leverage, which I'm hoping you took physics in high school. That's good. Whew. Some Pantera in the ears will get you that last rep. Whew. All right. Hitting some pec flies again on the crossover cables. On this, something I like to do is overly arch, right? And it does put your pecs in a more advantageous position. But you gotta also think, well, you're kind of lining up more lower pec. Nothing wrong with that necessarily. I mean, but for me particularly, I'm just trying to get my mid pec, right? I'm trying to get my sternal region, not my costal region, if you want to use the big words. I mean, does it matter that much? No. But I am trying to do it. The way I'm doing it is by trying to keep my chin tucked, right? This up here is your cervical spine, right? What I'm arching right here is my thoracic, and my lumbar spine is what I'm arching. But what you do with your cervical spine translates. Like if I'm tilting my head back, then yeah, the rest of my spine's gonna start extending. Well, if I keep my chin tucked, which means like kind of in this position, then I'm keeping the cervical neck bent forward in flexion, right? Which keeps me from doing too drastic of a arch. Call it good at 8. What sucks about that 6 to 8 range is TikTok science will say you're doing too many. Old heads will say you're not doing enough. But hey, I'm just trying to make myself happy. Whatever. But you might have noticed I wear a lot of old rap tees. And I swear I'm not posing, but every time I talk about a song I'm listening to, it's usually some 2000s, 90s grunge or heavy metal. What I find is that rap isn't very good hype music a lot of the time. I mean, you'd think it would be, right? I mean, I got money, I got bitches, I got drugs, whatever. I mean, rap is a lot of hype stuff, but I find the stuff I listen to not super hype-ish. I mean, you're somebody who listens to like X or like trap or trap metal. I think that's a thing. Maybe you listen to Cardi, stuff like that. Well, yeah, that's gonna be hype, but I like more older rap, Wu-Tang. I like Outkast. Outkast actually does have good like barbecue, gasoline dreams. What else? Ooh, there's another one off of a Clemini that's good. But for the most part, a lot of rap songs that I like, anyways, don't make great hype up music, which is really too bad. But maybe it's for the best. I don't think you necessarily want to be listening to your gym music outside of the gym. At least not often, because then it kind of loses its edge, you know? Like if I've heard a song a million times, it doesn't get me as hype as if I've heard it like 10 times. That's why like TikTok edit songs are always changing, and there's always a new one, and they don't stick around too long, is because you get sick of them. It's like, okay, this was cool the first time, now it's kind of meh. So keep it fresh, keep it. Ooh, I was about to quote Outkast. Dang it. What is it? Skipped me. Remembering it. Keep it innovative, new, creative. I mean, some people are anti-music in the gym. They don't want to depend on it. I say have at it, man. I think I've talked about this before. Your limiting factor is going to be your brain, right? That's why I talk about comfort plays a big role in how well you do, or your mindset. If you're feeling crappy that day, like I haven't been getting great sleep, a lot of stressors with a new school year starting, so a lot of stuff that can interfere with my mental. It's going to mess up my progress in here. So you want to limit cortisol, right? Cortisol is the stress hormone. Just put a blanket statement, but stuff that gets you hype, like being in a full gym, everybody's yelling, listening to music that really gets you hype, doing exercises you like, stuff like that limits your perceived effort or your perceived fatigue, right? Which is going to help you have better sets. So I think that's something to actually strive for, not avoid, but everybody's different. That's not how you roll. It's not how you roll. I'm not going to tell you how you should roll, but I'm going to tell you it's how I roll, and I condone it. Woo, good set. Did it hit another rep? Gonna have to rewatch that. All right, hitting some reverse curls on the cables. I'm hitting this with a D handle, so I'm just going one arm at a time. If I were to do this both arms at the same time, I would do it with I'd rather do it with an easy bar or a barbell than to come here with one of those things, one of the easy bars for the cables, because you kind of got to balance both arms, and if one comes up, it kind of becomes easier on the other. It's not as big of a deal when you're doing something like this, where your arm path is pretty fixed. Does that make sense? Well, I think the issue is that here, if I'm going to turn anyway, it's going to be this way, right? So it's going to kind of push weight onto that side or push weight onto this side. Versus here, right, my wrists are kind of cambered instead of this way where it pushes, they're cambered this way. Or if this arm starts pulling, it's not going to push into this one, it's going to let it drop down. So I think there's a little more balance involved when you're doing the easy bar on the cable. If you do a easy bar, just dumbbell, if you kind of pull this way, well, the weight's going to start shifting that way. So it's going to put more weight on this arm. What you don't want, basically, is your strong arm to take over and your weak arm to fail and have to do less weight, right? Uh-oh. Ooh, 11. Up the weight. No need to be doing 11. This is one I would definitely use some form of wrist wrap, whether it be the VersaGrips, whether it be just the regular wraps, or whatever you got. Hooks, the Gym Optimizer, or whatever it's called. This is because, look, if I didn't have my wraps, right, all my weight would be going down on these joints, right? Well, if I'm trying to use these joints to wrap around something, those are the internal hand muscles that are really weak. Well, you don't want to be putting a lot of stress on really weak muscles when you're trying to work a really strong muscle like your brachioradialis, it'll give out before you even train your brachioradialis. All right. Eight. The thing about wrist wraps is, I think on most stuff they are supplemental. I think they do help because, I mean, your forearms are going to be a limiting factor a lot of the time. So if you can take that out of the equation, you're going to be able to work the muscles you're targeting better. Now, argument against that is, well, then my forearms are going to atrophy. I mean, I have no such concerns, but for those that do, if you want your forearms to come up, you should be training them directly anyways. You know, there's no reason to be working them through like pull downs and deadlifts, and I mean, I guess the only argument I could hear against that is isometrics for grip strength. I think, and this is just theory, all right? I have no science to back this. This is just me yapping. I think isometrics are more useful, functionally speaking, for your forearms. Why? Because you're not going to be doing like a max effort grip strength test all the time. No, you're going to be doing how long can I hold onto this heavy object for, right? If I'm a pro deadlifter, well, yeah, if I can't use straps, my grip strength's going to be a limiting factor. I want to get that up. And isometrics are the way to go about it. So I think dead hangs are something really useful for that. Something I've been thinking about implementing, but you know, we'll give that 30 pounds before we start doing stuff like that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Seven. Some absolute animal just came in there at 2:30 in the morning, so shout out to them. I'm skipping cardio because I've got classes tomorrow and it is already late. Like, I'm not even gonna go home to shower, and if I have to do cardio, I'm gonna have to shower. So I'm not going to bed stinky, alright? Not gonna happen, and I'm not gonna stay up any later than I have to because I gotta wake up early for classes. And I know you might hear that and go, oh, he's skipping cardio. Do not mess with your sleep. That is one of the worst things you can do, period, is mess with your sleep. As always, like, subscribe. If you got comments, concerns, questions, if you got questions, leave them in the comments. I'll answer them. I mean, I can't imagine I'm sitting at millions of subscribers yet, so if you leave a question, I'll probably see it. Love y'all, appreciate y'all. See you next time.